Toastmaster Ward Gros, as a site. One of Toastmaster Ward Gros' earliest memories was reading the book Ma Lian and the Magic Brush, a story about a boy from China whose art helped his entire village overcome adversity. Much like Harold and the Purple Crayon, the things Ma Lian drew came to life. Reconnecting with his love for art, Ward has started a new chapter in his life. This speech comes from the Research Speech Assignment in Pathways. Here to share his experience, Toastmaster Ward Gros with his speech, The Art Boost.
Good morning, thank you. Good morning, fellow Toastmasters and guests. Let me take you back to your earliest memories of school, of kindergarten. Perhaps you remember dipping your fingers into those beautiful colors and doing those finger paints. Prior to writing, prior to reading, one of the most joyous times in my life was finger painting in kindergarten, bringing those pictures, the stick figure family, the yellow-orange sun, home to mom and dad. And what did they do? Refrigerator. On the refrigerator. And it stayed up there all week until the next picture came in, or a better picture came in. I remember getting all messy, and today I remember the joy that that mess brought to me. I want to share with you the positive impact art has on individuals, each of us personally, on our neighborhoods, and our community at large. When we think of art, what do we think of? There are two broad categories, the visual and the performing arts. How many of you were artists in high school? In the band, drawing, theater, perhaps church chorus? All right, raise your hand if you were in any of these categories, please. If you are still in these categories, keep your hand up. All right, look around. So what do these guys with their hands up know that we no longer do or know so personally? Hands down, please. Have you talked to Carson or Carmelo about being in the band? I saw John Mazanovich, guitar slinger, cowboy hat, along with David and his recommended table topic, Wrangler hats. These guys are elated anytime you talk to them about being in the band. Good, bad, or ugly. They love it. Now sometimes they even sound more excited when it gets sloppy. More than a few of you have watched Therese draw during a Toastmasters meeting. She's an emerging artist, one of the most prominent up-and-coming fashion designers in Orlando. Have you talked to her about or heard her speak about design and fashion? Elated. Art has an actual positive impact. And this is a research speech from Pathways, so you're going to hear some facts backing it up. Americans for the Arts says that just 45 minutes of creating art can shrink stress hormones by 25%. They further report that 2/3 of Americans say the arts have helped them tackle emotional or mental challenges, and almost 70% feel uplifted by taking part in the arts. I have to admit, growing up, I was doing wonderful art, took art lessons, sold art, have art hanging up in family houses. Went to college, and that kind of disappeared. And ever since the age of 14, I had been working 2 jobs, but college added on to that. So I kind of disconnected from it. Disconnecting from your art is kind of like not changing your oil in your lawnmower or your car. You kind of lose that lubrication, that thing that keeps you going. And when self-care is ignored, it can ripple through the whole community. Anyone been on I-4 and see a car stall out? It kind of does that when you disconnect from your passion, from your joy. Have you been in your car singing your favorite song at the top of your lungs, smiling, not caring if you were in key or not in key. That's the feeling that art can bring. I was so burnt out from teaching high school for 27 years. As a teacher, things become disconnected. Generations get longer gaps. Technology takes over. I was teaching English, and I realized we're in a world where you don't really need to read or write or any of that hardly anymore unless you really want to think. So what Carson was telling us about AI recently holds true. And there are, I don't want to discredit, a number of students who want to think and think deeply. But did you really want to think in high school? You did about what you cared about. I retired and started a new escapade in my life, art. And I want to say thank you to Sean Tucker, Toastmaster Sean Tucker, for helping fuel that with me. Now, Sean and his wife run an estate company. He gave me over 200 magazines recently, which I've shared with Orlando's Collage Club, and even gave a collage class this past Sunday at a community church. Everyone was over the moon. It was my first collage class, and I felt very empowered having experienced what I have from Winter Park Toastmasters and delivering this to them. And last night, I was at another Collage Club event. I also volunteer, and I've encouraged Chris to take up his saxophone and join Timucua Jazz Jam at a Timucua Nonprofit Arts Foundation. And that's been a very nourishing place for me as well. And I meet after Toastmasters every Friday at Castleberry Art House, where I join a community that does whatever they care to do in art for about 3 hours every Friday. That's what it's done for me on a personal level. Now, if I remember correctly, I believe that Jeff Rufinock is a big supporter of Winter Park Arts and the art festivals and sidewalk art. This year's festival takes place on October 10th. So if you want to write down on your calendar, you can support the arts by going. Over 186 artists from across Florida participated in last year's event. More than 350,000 people attended the event. And according to Arts and Economic Prosperity, locals spent an average of 28 per person per day. And if you're from out of town, over 56 a day. So it has an economic impact on our community. It also brings in the diverse Central Florida community together, where we share all of our cultural experiences, much as we do here at Winter Park Toastmasters every Friday morning. Art has a positive impact on us personally, on our communities, and on our economy. So I encourage you, this is your call to action. Take some time reconnecting with your artistic side, whatever it is, and you'll discover art can have a positive impact on you too.